Hello everyone and welcome to my CBS Soaps official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Wednesday, October 22, 2025. Today on The Bold and the Beautiful, two relationships are on thin ice as Sheila begs Deacon not to shut her out, and Deke wonders why Ramai doesn't want his name mentioned around Forrester Creations. As the episode began, Will and Electra were at Forrester recapping Bill's visit to Luna. But even Will was tired of talking about Luna. Is there no weather to discuss? See any good movies lately? At Deke and Ramai, Forrester's new designer modeled some old man chic that he planned to wear on his first day of work. It's better if you do mention me at the office, Ramai reminded his beau. Sus much? Ramai admitted that something happened in the past but wouldn't say I created fake nudes of Electra Forrester. Deke assured, you can tell me anything, but could Ramai? Apparently, Deke forgot how freaked he was to think Ramai and Luna were friends. Rather than discuss the matter, Ramai shooed Deke out the door, as if Hope's brother would be in trouble if he was late punching in. In prison, Luna delighted in how beat up she looked and promised her cellmate she wouldn't rat her out. She didn't either. When the prison doc showed up, Luna cried that the women on the cell block hated her, and she needed to be freed for the sake of her pregnancy. Off Luna's checkup, the doctor phoned Will and suggested that he come speak with the mother-to-be in person. At Il Giardino, Sheila bugged Deacon to try and get through this together and come home. I really miss you, Daddy, she said. And does that ever fail to creep us all out? Deacon turned his wife down flat, but her BS that the lying and the scheming stopped the day I got married to you. Except for the lying and scheming that she's done since. Sheila insisted that she didn't mind Deacon seeing Taylor. She figured that it was a step toward bringing him home, despite the fact that she'd once killed the shrink and had shot most of her relatives. At Taylor's office, she and Steffy rehashed the shrink's determination to move on from human Waffle Ridge. Is there another man in your life? Steffy asked when Mom said she intended to make the most of her life, as if that was the only way that Taylor could move on. Though the shrink told her daughter that she wasn't dating anyone, we all knew that she was getting closer to Deacon than seemed therapeutic. Sheila guessed as much, too. She'd visited Taylor after her husband's last session, the doc revealed. As the episode neared its conclusion, Deacon expressed his surprise that Sheila had dropped in on Taylor. In turn, Taylor asked whether he thought he and his wife still had a future together. At Forrester Creations, Electra encouraged Deke and was nice enough not to clock the sweater that he must have borrowed from somebody's grandpa. In no time, talk turned as it inevitably does to Luna. Finally, Will showed up to visit Luna, who described prison as awful as if anyone would expect it to be posh or pleasant. I'm under so much stress, she cried, and this can't be safe for our child. Will seemed either to be buying her nonsense or nauseous. It was hard to tell for sure which. Wednesday, October 22, 2025. Today on The Bold and the Beautiful, two relationships teeter on the brink as secrets bubble beneath the surface, a marriage faces its final test, and new alliances begin to form in the unlikeliest of places. Sheila Carter makes one last desperate plea to win back Deacon's heart, while Deacon himself faces growing tension from both sides, his estranged wife's dangerous devotion and Taylor's quiet compassion. Meanwhile, Forrester Creations hums with restless energy as Electra and Will grapple with Luna's scandal, and Deke's new romance threatens to unravel before it ever truly begins. At Forrester Creations, secrets, shame, and the ghost of Luna. The morning began in the sleek, polished design office of Forrester Creations. Will Spencer sat perched on the edge of a drafting table, coffee in hand, while Electra Forrester flicked through sketches with the intensity of someone trying not to think about the real issue at hand. They'd been talking about Bill's visit to Luna again. The topic had worn thinner than one of HFT Couture's sheer blouses. Electra sighed, tossing a sketch pad onto the table. Is there seriously nothing else happening in this city? No scandals, no weather, no decent movies. We're stuck in a loop, Will smirked, swirling his coffee. In this town, Luna's scandal is the weather, unpredictable, destructive, and always making the headlines. Even so, Will's tone lacked his usual spark. There was something uneasy behind his eyes. The same man who once thrived on Forrester drama now looked tired. Maybe it was guilt, maybe something else. Electra noticed, "You've been off lately, what's going on with you?" Will shook his head quickly. "Nothing, I'm just tired of pretending everything's normal when nothing is." The air thickened between them. They both knew that nothing is normal could apply to half of LA, but here at Forrester, it hit different. Because when your name was Forrester or Spencer, normal was a fantasy. At Deke and Remai's apartment, the calm before the emotional storm. Across town, Deke Sharp, still adjusting to the dual life of being both Deacon's nephew and the new guy at Forrester, stood admiring himself in a mirror. He wore what he proudly called old man chic, tweed jacket, slightly scuffed loafers, and a vintage tie that probably belonged to someone's retired professor. Remai walked in, arms folded, eyebrow raised. "You look like you're about to teach a lecture on 1970s furniture design." Deke grinned. "It's called style, babe." But Remai wasn't smiling. His voice dropped to a whisper. "Just remember, it's better if you don't mention me at the office." Deke frowned. "Why not?" Remai hesitated, the air in the small apartment suddenly thick with tension. "Because something happened, okay? Something in the past." Deke chuckled, trying to keep things light. "What, like you forgot to return a library book?" But Remai's face remained stone. "I did something stupid, Deke, something that could destroy everything if it comes out." When he wouldn't elaborate, Deke pressed gently, his usual confidence fading. "You can tell me anything." Remai looked at him, eyes glinting with shame. For a second, it seemed like he might confess, that he might finally admit that he'd been the one behind the fake nudes of Electra Forrester, the ones that nearly wrecked her career months ago. But then he shook his head. "It's better if you don't know." Deke sighed, grabbing his bag. "You're making it worse by not telling me you know." Remai forced a tight smile. "Go, you'll be late, and Forrester's not exactly the place where people forget first impressions." The door closed, and for a long moment Remai stood alone, staring at the floor, whispering to himself, "I'm not that person anymore." Except he wasn't sure he believed it. At the prison, Luna's tears and manipulations. Meanwhile, in a sterile, fluorescent-lit cell block, Luna Nizawa sat on a cold metal cot, staring at her bruised reflection in a cracked mirror. To her cellmate she muttered, "You should see the other guy." Her cellmate rolled her eyes. "You talk too much for a celebrity." Luna smirked, but when the guard called for her medical checkup, her tough act faded fast. In the prison infirmary, Luna faced the doctor, eyes shimmering with fake tears. "They hate me in there," she cried. "They keep saying things about me, threatening me. I can't stay here not like this, I'm pregnant." The doctor, a middle-aged man with a calm voice, frowned as he took notes. "You've said that before, Luna, we're still waiting for confirmation." Luna leaned forward, voice trembling just right. "You don't understand, this stress, it's dangerous for the baby, for our child." The words lingered. After Luna's checkup, the doctor stepped into the hallway and called Will Spencer. His voice was low but urgent. "Mr. Spencer, I think you should come visit Luna. She's not in a good place. She's saying things that concern me." Will rubbed his temples, unsure why he kept letting Luna drag him back into her chaos. But part of him, the part that once loved her or maybe just pitied her, couldn't say no. At Il Giardino, Sheila's last stand. At Il Giardino, the restaurant Deacon once proudly managed, the air was thick with the smell of garlic bread and broken promises. Sheila Carter sat in the corner booth, wearing her signature black leather jacket and a smile that was just a little too sharp. When Deacon arrived, he didn't even sit down. "This isn't a good idea, Sheila." She looked up, eyes glistening. "We said vows, Deacon. We promised each other honesty, loyalty, love." "Yeah," he said bitterly, "and you broke all three." Sheila reached for his hand. "I really miss you, Daddy." He froze, pulling back. "Don't call me that." But Sheila kept talking, her voice soft and pleading. "The lying, the scheming, all of that stopped when I married you. You made me want to be good." Deacon's expression softened, but only for a second. "You're saying that like I didn't catch you lying last week." Her eyes flickered, then hardened. "You're seeing Taylor again, aren't you?" Deacon sighed. "She's helping me deal with all this." "She's helping you forget me," Sheila snapped. "You think she's pure, she's not, she's just better at hiding it." There it was, that dangerous gleam in her eyes, the one that reminded everyone why she was Sheila Carter. When Deacon finally walked out, Sheila sat motionless, staring at the door. Then, almost to herself, she whispered, "He'll come back. They always come back." At Taylor's office, old wounds, new temptations. Later that afternoon, Taylor Hayes sat in her office, a mug of tea untouched on the desk. Steffi sat across from her, legs crossed, arms folded, a mix of curiosity and concern in her expression. "So," Steffi said slowly, "you're moving on from Dad." Taylor smiled faintly. "It's about time, don't you think?" Steffi tilted her head. "Is there another man in your life?" Taylor laughed softly. "Steffi, moving on doesn't always mean falling into someone else's arms." But Steffi wasn't buying it. "You've been different lately, happier, you're glowing, and I don't mean your new skincare line." Taylor avoided her daughter's eyes, because Steffi wasn't wrong. Since she'd begun counseling Deacon, something had shifted. The sessions had started as therapy, guilt, regret, processing grief, but lately they'd turned into something else, something that lingered after hours. And Sheila, always lurking in the shadows, had already sniffed it out. Taylor confided softly, "Sheila came to see me." Steffi's jaw dropped. "What, Mom, that woman's a psycho." "I know," Taylor said, "but she wanted to talk about Deacon." Steffi groaned. "Oh great, so now she's playing marriage counselor too." Taylor's voice was low. "I think she knows about Deacon and me." Steffi's eyes widened. "Mom, are you in love with him?" Taylor hesitated. "I care about him more than I should." At Forrester Creations, tension, temptation, and the ghost of secrets. By late afternoon, Deke finally arrived at Forrester Creations. Electra greeted him with a polite smile, though her eyes took in his outfit with amusement. "That sweater," she teased gently, "borrowed from your grandpa." "Maybe," he joked, "but I figured I'd need all the luck I can get on my first day." Electra smiled, but the warmth faded as conversation drifted back to Luna. "It's strange," she admitted. "Even when she's gone, she's still part of everything we do here." Deke nodded, quietly agreeing. "Sometimes ghosts aren't dead people, they're just mistakes that never really fade." Electra looked at him, intrigued. "You sound like you know something about that." But before Deke could answer, his phone buzzed, a message from Ramai. "We need to talk tonight. At the prison, Will faces the past." As the episode neared its end, Will arrived at the prison, escorted by guards through echoing corridors. Luna looked up from her cot, tears immediately welling in her eyes. "Will," she whispered, "you came." He sat across from her, his expression unreadable. "This place is killing me," she said, voice trembling. "I'm under so much stress and it can't be safe for our child." Will's stomach turned. He couldn't tell if it was pity or nausea. "Luna," he said quietly, "if you're really pregnant, we'll figure it out. But if you're lying again." "I'm not lying," she shouted, slamming her hands on the table. Guards turned to look, but Will waved them off. "You're the only one who can help me," Luna said, tears streaming down her face. "Please, Will, don't let them keep me here." Will looked at her for a long, heavy moment. Then he whispered, "I don't know if I can trust you anymore." As he walked away, Luna's sobs echoed through the visitation room, blending with the metallic clang of closing doors. Back at Taylor's office, Deacon sat across from her, his face weary but his eyes searching. "Sheila told me she came to see you," he said. Taylor nodded. "She wanted to know if we still had a future, you and her." Deacon exhaled, leaning forward. "What do you think?" Taylor's lips curved into a soft, conflicted smile. "I think some people can't be saved, but some can." Their eyes met, a silent electricity filling the room. Outside, unseen, Sheila watched from the hallway window. Her face was still, her heart was not. And as the bold and the beautiful faded to black, one thing was clear. Love, lies, and loyalty were about to collide, and no one would escape unscathed. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, so please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and don't miss any updates.